In the final portion of Genesis, this week's portion Vayechi, the Torah describes to us the end of Yaakov's life and how he blessed his children and grandchildren before he died. And he calls Joseph and says to him, "Bring me your children, my two grandchildren that grew up here in Egypt. I want to bless them." And the description is beautiful. He puts his two hands on their heads and he blesses them, and he gives them this, he talks to them and says what their destiny will be. And then he says something so amazing. He says, "You will become the paradigm for all Jewish blessings for eternity." In other words, when any father or mother wants to bless their children, you are going to be used as the example. They're going to say to their children, "Yesimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim v'Menashe." May God make you, our children, like Ephraim and Menashe. Now, what was it about Ephraim and Menashe that they became the paradigm blessing for every future Jew ever? Now, when you analyze their life, the Torah doesn't really describe them in any glorious way. That we don't even know what they did, who they were, what they were about. There's nothing in the Torah that much about them. Very incidental things. But there's one important thing. They grew up in Egypt. And yet, in that very foreign environment, they were able to maintain their Jewish identity and live the fullest as a Jew. And that's why they became the paradigm blessing. You see, a lot of us make the mistake thinking that because we don't live in an environment where Judaism is out in the open, is very obvious, everyone is doing it, that we also can't do it. We can lax, we can be a little lazy, and it's not, you can't really blame us. Ephraim and Menashe teach us otherwise. Growing up in Egypt back then, there were no Jews, there were nothing. But they really remembered who they were. And they dressed like Jews, they spoke like Jews, they lived like Jews, they smelled like they smelled Judaism. They were all about Judaism. Even though they lived, no one around them was like that. And that's why they became the ultimate blessing. Today is January 1st. A lot of people have the custom of taking on new resolutions. Of course, for us Jews, Rosh Hashanah is the day, and in the September and the first of the Jewish New Year, without a doubt. But because some of us, we consider this the fiscal New Year, and some people have the custom to take on a new resolution. A lot of people say, "I'm going to start going to the gym to lose a few calories." So I want to give you a suggestion. Even though we live in an environment that's not so Jewish, take your neshama to the gym. Your neshama, your soul, also needs to do some exercise. And don't use the excuse that no one around me is really so religious, and no one around me does the mitzvahs and learns Torah. Ephraim and Menashe teach us that even though there's no one around you doing this, you can do it. And believe it or not, unbeknownst to you, when you start doing it, you'll begin to realize that there are quite a few others that do it as well. So don't only start taking your body to the gym to lose some weight. Take your neshama to the gym. And let it too, take a new resolution today, that you're going to start learning maybe a little Torah every day or every week. You'll you'll go on to a Zoom class once a week. Maybe you're going to start doing a little, if you're a man, maybe you put on tefillin once in a while. Whatever mitzvah you want. Be nicer to your neighbor. It doesn't make a difference. Take a mitzvah. Do a little more Jew. Be a little more Jewish. And allow your neshama to build up its own muscles. It's so necessary. It's who we are. We are the Menashe and Ephraims of life. We're not in Israel. We're not in Jerusalem. We're not even in Brooklyn. We're here in Weston or wherever else you're listening to this. You're probably not in the most Jewish environment. Nevertheless, Yesimcha Elokim ke'Ephraim v'Menashe. May you be like Ephraim and Menashe, who stood tall as a Jew, even in Egypt. God bless you, and Shabbat Shalom.